Hello, hello. I'm so excited that you have decided to do the 80-day obsession and that you are going to incorporate the Time Nutrition food plan that comes along with that because the results speak for itself and it is amazing. And the one thing I will say that to be successful in this food plan, you must prepare ahead of time. You must at least prepare the day before, and I highly recommend making most of your food on the weekend, and then you have it to grab really quickly, really easily. What I did was I cooked up a bunch of different foods. I cooked up about I think four different proteins. Then I cooked up some veggies. I cut up some raw veggies. I then cooked up some carbs and had a couple like raw carbs, like wraps, things like that. And then I also had my fruits. And that way, when I start putting my meals together, everything's ready. I just put them together and I put 2 days together at a time. And then once I get down to 1 day left, then I will do the next day. And then I always know if I've run out of something. And that helps me stay on track. And for instance, this morning I forgot to set my alarm. And so whereas I like to cook my breakfast when I wake up, I like fried eggs, I like toast, and warm veggies. I had to eat cold broccoli and hard-boiled eggs because I didn't set my alarm. So make sure you're prepared, make sure you know what's going on, and I'll give you a few other tips to stay on track because it is timed nutrition. And so what time you eat is very important, and how far apart, because that's what's going to get your metabolism fired up, and that's what's going to get you that lean muscle and those results that you are looking for. So let's start out right here. These are your containers, and yes, they're all stacked up inside each other, right? What are these for? Because you're clearly not keeping a lot of food in them. These are how you measure. Okay, these are your portion sizes, and they are color coded because they go with different food types. And so like a serving of a vegetable and a serving of a carb are completely different size than a serving of protein or fruit or whatever. So this one, I bet you can't figure out what this is. This is your veggie container. Yellow is your carbs. And you may be thinking, okay, so if I have a piece of toast, I'm clearly not going to smash it up and fit in that container. No, you're not. It tells you on your food list, which I'll show you in a minute, that one piece of like Ezekiel sprouted bread equals one yellow. Orange is salad dressings or certain nuts, some of the fattier nuts, which yes is very small, but I promise you, the first time I used that with salad dressing, I was like, yeah, right, please. And by the end of eating my salad, which was 2 servings of these, right? It was lettuce filled with this and then other veggies on top. And then I put my salad dressing on, and by the end, I still had salad dressing on my plate when I was done. So it's a lot more than you think. This is your fruit. This is your protein. And again, no one's asking you to break up your fish and put it in there. We'll give you on the food list a certain number of ounces. We're close. And this is your healthy fats. So this is like your avocados, your hummus, things like that, walnuts, and then you get an extra orange. You only get 1 in a day, so I'm not sure why we get 2, but we do. We get 2. So those are your containers. So now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to talk about the actual food plan. With this food plan, again, it is timed nutrition. And what you'll do is you'll go to your Beachbody On Demand, and you will go click on 80-Day Obsession, and then you will click on these program materials. If you watched your On Demand video that you should have gotten before this, it shows you how to find that and where to go. So if you need to figure that out, go to the On Demand video because I spell all that out for you. And here is where you'll find all the different things you need. So first I want to talk about your eating plan. Oh, nope, that's not the one I want. Sorry. Actually, it's probably this one's probably the first one. There we go. Starter guide. And how many of us ignore these starter guides, huh? How many of us go, I don't need that. I'll just go right to the plan and get started. Yeah, I'm guilty. But in this program, I highly recommend read the whole thing. As a matter of fact, I not only recommend it, I'm going to tell you, you got to read the whole thing. Just read it. Look how short it is, right? It's not very long. But here's one of the things you're going to want to read is how to take your before photos, how to do your measurements. Here's a chart for you to put your measurements on. And it tells you how to take your after photos and your measurements. And then right here, you'll find tips taking your photos on this Beachbody blog article. And there's a link to that. And then over here, when you finish and you do all these things and you send them into Beachbody, you get a free tank top or t-shirt. So it's worth it. Not only will you get results, right, and you'll feel better, but you get a t-shirt. And my daughter who's in college, according to her, it's all about the t-shirt. So here is your calculation. This will tell you which plan you follow. So you're going to take this here and you're going to do your current weight times 11. Oops, I have a slow moving computer, so I must have moved it. Then you're going to take the number from here, which is your caloric baseline, and you're going to add 600, which is your calorie burn from your workout. That gives you your maintenance calories. Now, if you are someone coming to this program, like I was, who was already at their target weight, then this number here, maintenance calories, is what you're going to use to figure out which plan to eat from. If you are here and you want to lose weight, okay, not just get fit, get more lean, build more muscle, you actually want to lose weight. And I'm talking probably more than 10 pounds. Then you're going to subtract 750 from that number, and that will tell you your calorie target for weight loss. And you'll see here, phase 2 and 3, the calculation changes. So it's really important that after we do phase 1 of the 3 phases of this program, that you recalculate, because you may be in a different plan. Now, you're going to take that number that you just got, whether it was your calorie target number or whether it was your maintenance calories number, and you're going to plug it into one of these plans, okay? So for me, like I mentioned, I'm in a maintenance calorie, so I am working in plan C. So you could be in A, B, C, D, E, or F, and that's just because that is either putting you in a calorie deficit, or it is ensuring that you have enough calories for the calorie burn from the workout program you're doing. So, and this tells you here, remember, you'll be recalculating your calories after each phase, so make sure to keep this chart handy. Get your eating plan, right? And then watch the starter videos, which they are also on Beachbody On Demand. You will find them when you click on 80-Day Obsession. And then get your workouts, right? And then there's a little bit here that talks about each workout. It talks about the equipment that you will need. It talks about eating right as a healthy obsession, talks about the supplements, and it's going to give you all the information for all the things you need. Now, most of you probably only have Energize and Recover as part of your supplements. This gives you some information on Hydrate and Recharge. In case you're interested, then we can talk about that, or you can just go to teambeachbody.com, sign in, and order. If you are signed up with the coaching discount, you will get 25% off when you order any of these products, any product from Beachbody. So I, as a coach, I did order Hydrate, which is it's like a healthy Gatorade. It is only 9 grams of sugar compared to Gatorade at 34 grams. And it is all plant-based, and it is no artificial colors, sweeteners, or preservatives. This is Recharge. Now, I've never had Recharge. I did an 80-day obsession workout today for the first time, and I am going to be drinking this tonight. I do have it. I did order it, and I didn't think I would use it, but I am already sore on my triceps, and it's not even nighttime. So I am going to try this tonight, but it tells you that it provides you a source of protein, which helps build and repair tissues overnight. It provides a source of amino acids involved in muscle protein synthesis, assists in building of lean muscle mass when combined with regular resistance training and a healthy, balanced diet. So you can read all of this. As a matter of fact, no, you're going to read all of it so that you know exactly how to use your food plan. Now, your container food list. This is where you go to look what goes in all these beautiful little containers. So you're going to come in here, and here's your food list. Now, these lists are arranged from the best to the worst best. So when you're starting out, you may be eating mostly at the bottom of these lists. But then as you get further in your program, and let's say you start to kind of plateau, it may be that you want to start looking at the upper half of these lists. Here you have your teaspoons. Yes, teaspoons are part of it. Those are your oils and your nut butters, and you will need to be keeping track of those as well. One of the things with this program, this particular eating program, is that your teaspoon, you get 1 teaspoon basically with each meal, at least on the plan I'm on. And so sometimes if I want nut butter with, say, my oatmeal, then if I cook something up, I am not going to be able to use oil. So one of the things that I've done is I've learned to cook a lot of things in just a little bit of water, or like steamed vegetables, just put the lid on and steam them up. Or you can use some sort of bone broth or chicken broth. Just make sure you're getting organic and that you're getting one with no MSG. And then these over here, this has to do with your refeed day. That's not for 6 weeks. So I will do a separate video for refeed, and when you need that, you can go in and look at that. So those will be added on those days. Down here, free foods. This means you can add this to anything, anytime. Here are some water ideas, things you can add to your water, and things that you might put in your Shakeology and where they fit in the containers. So for example, if you're using almond milk, it counts as 1 teaspoon. So make sure you're tracking that as well. If you want optimal results, you're going to have to put in optimal effort and pay attention to what you're doing. Here it does show you that these supplements are not counted in the container count. However, with your food plan, like with my food plan, I do have a purple container with my Recover. So it talks about that as well. And that's it for your list. Oh, sorry. I knew there was something else. Coffee and tea. Yes, you are going to need to change what you put probably in your coffee and your tea. And that's not easy. What I do is with my breakfast meal, my first meal, my pre-workout, because I work out in the morning, I have a cup of coffee, and I'm a person that likes to put butter and coconut oil in my coffee. And so what I do is I do a half a teaspoon of coconut oil and a half a teaspoon of butter, and that counts as my teaspoon. And if I fry up eggs, I do it in water or broth. And that way I can have my teaspoons that way. Or you can do hard-boiled eggs instead. But I want them in my coffee. So that's what I do. Okay, so let's see. Now, this also I wanted to show you, there is an entire plan for vegans. If you are vegan, this is your vegan container list. And obviously it's going to be different because your proteins are going to be different. And so you can see they have yellow A and yellow B because certain carbs are going to be counted as part of your protein. So you got to go read your vegan food plan because it's super important that you understand that. eating plan C. I'm showing you this one because this is what I'm using and I am the most familiar with it. Again, read the whole thing. Tells you what all the containers. So this is your container count. So I have 5 veggies, 3 fruits, 5 proteins, 4 carbs, 1 healthy fat, 1 seeds and nuts and dressings, and 5 teaspoons. So one of the things I wanted to show you was the first time I printed this out, I decided to be cheap because it was so many pages and I did it in black and white. Yeah, I really recommend you do it in color because then I had to go in and write all the letters. And, you know, I mean, you can pick and choose which pages, but you are going to want to print them out in color because the colors are important. Now, what I want to show you next is how timed nutrition works. Now, I want you to read this also. You should be able to figure this out from reading it, but I'm going to give you a quick overview. So the way she has it set up here is these are different days and different types of time blocks. This is for people who work out in the morning. This is their workout block on top, and then the rest of their meals every 2 to 3 hours, so that you can see how the times would work. Then this is a sample day. So she goes through and she shows you what a sample day would look like. Now this day is a day for someone who would be working out in the morning. So then you come down and it shows you this is your rest day meal plan. And yes, it's a little different. It's actually not too different. It's just that you can move any of the meal options around. Whereas when you are working out on a workout day, the workout block must stay together with the exception of meal option 1, which is generally your Shakeology, can be instead of a pre-workout meal if you want it to be. So that's the only change you can make in your workout block. But otherwise, outside of the workout block, you can move meals around. You can do, let's say you do the workout block in its integrity, the way it is, right? You have your pre-workout meal, you have your energize, you do your workout, you have your recover and your fruit, and then you have your post-workout meal. Then everything else in the day, you can move around. Now, you cannot move around containers within the meals, but you can move around the meals. So you would have left then meal 1, option 1, 2, and 3, right? On a regular day. On a rest day, you have 5 meal options. On a regular day, you have a pre-workout, a post-workout, and then meal option 1, 2, and 3, okay? So meal options 1, 2, and 3, you can move around. So after your post-workout meal, your next meal, maybe you're gonna have meal option 2. Then you'll have meal option 1 and have your shake, and then you'll have meal option 3 as your dinner. So you can move those around. So this is the information on the refeed day. Again, I will do a different video for that, that you can watch when you get to that. This also will have a separate video. This is an optional peak week deplete day meal plan, which is getting you down to maximum results, say for a competition or for after photos, or if you just want to see what if you did it. Here's a meal planner so you can write them all in. And you can see it has a refeed and a deplete day. Okay, so workout block examples. Here's the one I showed you before with the workout block at the beginning. You can see starts at 6 a.m. and by 10 a.m. She's eating her post-workout meal. Then you have your meal option 1, 2, and 3. And again, you can put these in any order, but the containers must say as they are set up in the meals. Here's a midday one. So you would have meal option 1 and 2 in the morning, have a midday workout, and then you have your meal option 3 in the evening. Here's an evening workout. You can see all your meal options are at the top. Your workout block is at the bottom. So that's basically how it works. Here's where it talks about your workout block Oh, this is a if you are not using Recover as a post workout supplement, then it tells you here's how you would do your day, and she increased the proteins. So that is for those of you who decided not to do Recover. So there you go. That is the eating plan. Now, what does an eating day look like for me? So for today, what I did was I have a little whiteboard on the side of my fridge, and I wrote in there all of my meals, and then I left the side blank. And I am going in each day and writing what time those meals are so that I know for the next day when I'm going to be eating what. And that's just helping me keep track, because then I can erase it. And then the next day, say I have a mid-afternoon workout on the next day, not a morning, I can change the times around, and that keeps me organized. The other thing I did was I cooked up, like I said, a bunch of, I made a bunch of greens, I made a bunch of reds, I made a bunch of yellows, and I put them all in bowls and containers in the fridge. And then I'm setting up in separated containers 2 days of meals at a time. Obviously not my shake, I just make that when I make it. And my first morning meal, I don't have that in containers because I'm frying up eggs or scrambling up eggs, and I am just cooking that up so I can eat it when I get up. I highly recommend you sit down and plan this out. You can go to the Beachbody blog, so beachbodyblog.com, and you can find lots of examples of 80-day obsession meals. You can go to Fixate on your on-demand, the cooking show, and there are some 80-day obsession meals in there as well. So message me if you have any questions, but that is the basics of how this eating plan works. And if you just take a few minutes and you really read through everything, and then you start writing out samples, you will be excited about how this eating plan, although you eat a lot, will get your metabolism fired up, and you will feel amazing and have sustainable energy all day. Have a very blessed day.